Namo Amituofo Buddha. Hello everyone. So in Buddhist sutras, sometimes we see the Buddha talk about the 6 realms or the 5 realms and also the triple-reinos. So in today's video, I'd like to talk about all these different classifications of realms and what are the differences. So most of us, we know about the 6 realms of reincarnation. Like we talked about before, the heaven realm, the human realm, the asura realm, known as the 3 good realms, and also the animal realm, the hungry ghost realm, and the hell realm, known as the 3 evil realms. Now the asura realm is a little bit special. So if we are talking about the 6 realms, then the asura realm is specifically referring to the heavenly asura, like sometimes known as the demigods. And the asuras like to fight with the devas. If the sutra talks about 5 realms, then they include the demigods and the heaven realm together to make up the 5 realms. Asuras can actually also exist in other different realms, like the human realm, the hungry ghost realm, the animal realm. So asura can also refer to a type of personality or character. So asuras are types of beings who, although they cultivate good deeds, they also have very big temper. They really have this fighting spirit. They like to fight a lot, and they like to be angry a lot. They have this big tantrum and also jealousy. So this is a trait of asura. So asura can also exist in other realms, like the Buddha said in the Shurgama Sutra. But if it's about the 6 realms, then the asura specifically refers to the heavenly asura, the demigods. And also sometimes the realm of asura may also be classified as an evil realm, as asuras are mixed with unwholesome conduct and wholesome conduct. So depending on the proportion of their wholesome conduct and unwholesome conduct, they may be classified as a good realm or an evil realm. And sometimes in the sutra, we also see very often the triple realm. So the triple realm refers to the characteristics of the mental states, whereas the 6 realms and the 5 realms refers to different types of beings, different types of existence. So what are the triple realms? So the triple realms are the desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm. So the triple realms are also referring to the cycle of reincarnation. So the desire realm include the lower 5 realms, which are the asura realm, the human realm, the hungry ghost realm, the animal realm, and the hell realm, and plus the first 6 levels of heavens. So this make up the desire realm in the cycle of reincarnation. So why is it called the desire realm? Because beings in the desire realms, they have strong attachment to desire, particularly the desire to senses, the desire to lust, the desire to food. In the human realm, where people have desire to money, fame, lust, food, and sleep. And also in the lower heavenly realm, first 6 levels of heavenly realms, they also still have desire to the senses. It's just the higher the level of heavenly realms, the less the desire. And when we go to the form realm, the heavens in the form realms, so from the 7 levels of heaven and above, and there are 18 levels of heavens together in total in the form realm. And they have no desire to the senses. They are free from sensual desire and also no desire to food. But they're not completely free from all attachment yet. So in the form realm, they will have a really wonderful and beautiful transformed body. So the higher the level of heavens, the more wonderful the beings will look, and also due to the decrease in desire. So if they don't have the attachment to desire, where do they get their bliss from? So the bliss is from meditation. So for people to actually ascend to the form realm, they not only need to cultivate the 10 good deeds in their life, but they also need to practice meditation. And the higher the level of meditative absorption, meditative concentration, the higher the level of heavens they will end up to in the form realm. So for instance, when we talk about different levels of enlightenment, anagamis, the non-returners in Theravada Buddhism, they will actually ascend to the pure abodes in the form realm. So the pure abodes are the highest 5 levels of heavens in the form realm. So we'll talk more about the different types of heavens in another video. And then after the form realm, there is still the formless realm. In the formless realm, there are a total of 4 different levels of heavens. And beings who are in the formless realm, they do not have any attachment to desire and whatsoever. Also, they would not have any form, so that's why it's called the formless realm. It's just pure consciousness, pure mind. But what they may still have, the slightest subtle attachment, is the attachment to non-thinking, no thoughts. So these are called the externalist enlightenment. Externalist means non-Buddhist, people who do not practice the Buddha Dharma, but they may practice other kinds of methods, maybe yoga or different types of practices. Then they may ascend to the formless realm if they have attained to the state of no thought. But remember, attachment to no thinking, no thoughts is still a form of attachment. So this is very subtle. And 2 of Buddha's previous teachers before the Buddha realized enlightenment, they actually ascended to the formless realm because they thought enlightenment means nothingness. But Buddha thought this was not complete yet. He had not actually transcended the cycle of reincarnation. So when we talk about enlightenment in Buddhism, it's not no thoughts. If one is attached to non-thoughts, non-doing, this is still a form of attachment. So in Buddha Dharma, one is not attached to either thinking or non-thinking, either having or not having. So that's why it's called the middle path, the middle way. But even the middle way itself, one is not attached. It is also emptiness in nature. So all is emptiness in nature. So emptiness is not nothingness. Remember, form is emptiness. Emptiness is the form. What emptiness means is that there is no permanent fixed nature attached to anything. Therefore, we should not be attached to it. We should perceive things as they are, and with no attachment and separation. That is actually the final enlightenment the Buddha was talking about. So for anyone who wants to completely transcend the cycle of reincarnation, one must be free from all forms of attachment. So one can obtain the level of arhat to be free from the cycle of reincarnation. If you have even the slightest attachment, however subtle it may be, you cannot actually exit the cycle of reincarnation. So we know how difficult it is actually to transcend the cycle of reincarnation through one's self-effort. And attaining rebirth to the Pure Land is completely outside of the cycle of reincarnation. So the Pure Land is not another heaven. This I feel like I have to stress it a lot of times, because people just think the Pure Land is like another heaven. It is not. The Pure Land is the Buddha's land. It's manifested through the perfectly enlightened mind of the Buddha and through the Buddha's vows and cultivations for countless eons. And when we attain rebirth in Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land, through relying on Amitabha Buddha's power and vows, we are actually free from the cycle of reincarnation. So it's really different from people who ascend to the heaven through their self-effort. And also, to ascend to the heaven realm is not the end. There is a lifespan in each of the heaven realm. Although one lives for an incredibly long lifespan, but in the end, one still has to fall. That's not the end. One has not realized infinite light and life, unlike people in the Pure Land. So one still have to fall back down after one ascended to the heaven. And I'll do another videos to talk more about the Buddhist heavens. So the Buddhist sutras really have the most detailed descriptions on heavens and hells and all different types of beings and existence. For people who may like to know more, you can go and read more on the sutras.